You hear it everywhere, right? Digital transformation. It's the big buzzword. But there's a pretty uncomfortable secret that nobody likes to talk about. Most of these huge, expensive projects, they're failing. So, let's get into it. We're going to break down why that's happening and, more importantly, figure out how you can build an organization that's actually ready for what's coming next. And look, when I say most, I'm not just being dramatic. This is a real number. Big firms, like McKinsey and Bain, they've studied this, and a staggering 75% of these projects just don't hit their goals. Think about that for a second. That means only 1 out of every 4 actually works. Those odds are just not good. So, what in the world is going on? How is this possible? Well, this quote right here from Saurabh Hajela, it really gets to the heart of the whole mystery. He says that trying to transform without discipline, well, it just makes the problem worse. It's like industrializing technical debt. How can all that activity, all that effort to change actually make you more stuck? It sounds totally backwards, right? But believe me, it's a trap so many companies fall into. And this is what we're going to call the transformation paradox. It's this just bizarre situation where you pour all this money and energy into getting modern, but you end up accidentally making the old problems even stronger. It's wild. So if we're going to figure out how to escape this thing, we've got to first understand the powerful, kind of hidden forces that are causing it. Okay, let's use a little analogy here. Think about it like gravity, right? Before you can launch a rocket into space and escape a planet's pull, you have to understand gravity. You have to account for it. Well, in business, it's the same thing. The biggest force holding companies back isn't a lack of ideas or vision. Nope. It's the invisible gravitational pull of their own history, their legacy. See, every single organization out there is built on top of systems and decisions from the past. And this legacy tech, it's not just some old servers sitting in a closet. No, it's way more than that. It's this powerful, invisible force, a kind of gravity, that literally dictates every move the company can make. It tells you where your budget goes, it shapes what new projects are even possible, and it just sucks up all the energy that you should be using to innovate. And a huge part of that gravitational pull is something called technical debt. Now, the best way to think about this is like a financial loan, but for technology. Instead of borrowing money, you're borrowing time from the future. You're choosing the easy, quick fix right now, knowing it's not the best one. And just like a loan, every one of those shortcuts adds up. It accrues interest, which means that every future change becomes harder and way more expensive. And this isn't just about messy code either. That's just the tip of the iceberg. The real damage is hidden beneath the surface. You've got architecture debt, these super rigid systems that just can't change. You've got data debt, where all your information is locked away in different places and nobody trusts the numbers. There's process debt, where all those inefficient little workarounds just become the way things are done. And maybe the worst of all, cultural debt, where that killer phrase, "but we've always done it this way," just strangles any new idea. This thing goes way, way beyond the code. And check out this quote from an engineering leader at Walmart. It's just stunning. He says that after years of doing an agile transformation, doing all the right things you're supposed to do, they were actually delivering less often with bigger failures. Performance got worse. That's the transformation paradox right there in the real world. All that frantic activity was just layering new, shiny processes right on top of a mountain of unresolved technical debt. And what you end up with is this phenomenon called architectural inertia. Here's how it works. Your core systems, they work. They seem stable, so nobody wants to be the one to mess with them, right? Don't fix what isn't broken. But the problem is, they were built to support a business strategy that might be 10, 20 years old. The business has completely changed, but the architecture is stuck in the past. It becomes this massive anchor, just holding you back. Okay, so that's the problem. And it's a big one. It's hidden, it's powerful, and it's super common. So the big question is, how do you break free? Well, the answer isn't to just go buy another piece of software. Nope. The answer is to fundamentally redesign how your organization works. And the toolkit for that is something called your operating model. So what exactly is an operating model? It sounds kind of corporate speak, I know. But think of it like this. It's the blueprint for how you turn your big ideas, your strategy, into actual reality. It answers the basic questions. How are our teams organized? How does work actually flow from one person to the next? And who gets to make the important decisions? Basically, it's the engine that runs your business. And when it comes to operating models, you've got a few basic plays in your playbook. You can go centralized, which is awesome for cost control and making sure everyone follows the same rules. Or you could go product-based, which is all about speed and innovation. Then there's the federated model, which is kind of like a hybrid that tries to get the best of both worlds. Now, there's no single right answer here. The choice you make depends completely on what your company is trying to achieve. And this slide just lays out the difference perfectly. Take a company like Walmart. They've got thousands of stores. They need everything to be standardized and cost-effective. So, of course, a centralized IT structure makes total sense for them. But then you look at Netflix or Spotify. For them, the digital product, the recommendation engine, the streaming service, that is the entire business. So they structure their whole company around those products to innovate at lightning speed. But here's the thing. Just picking one of these structures off a chart, that's not enough, not even close. The real magic, the real breakthrough, happens when you stop thinking about an IT operating model over here and a business operating model over there. In any truly modern company, they have to be the exact same thing. This Gartner image really nails it. You see that IT operating model, the ITOM? It's not off on its own island. It's just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. And that puzzle is the whole enterprise operating model, the EOM. For the whole thing to work, all those pieces have to snap together perfectly to create one clear picture. So really, this whole journey is about evolution. It's about taking IT from being seen as a back-office cost center, a factory that just churns out tech stuff, and turning it into a real strategic partner at the main table. Because in the most forward-thinking companies today, technology isn't just supporting the business anymore. IT is the business, and their operating models are completely woven together. So how do you actually build that bridge? What's the secret? Well, it all comes down to focusing on something called business capabilities. This is the secret sauce. It's the common language that everyone can understand. So instead of the tech people talking about servers and the business people talking about profit margins, everyone starts talking about what the business needs to be able to do. Things like manage customer relationships or process online orders. That becomes the connection point, the fulcrum that links the big strategy to the actual tech that gets it done. Now, getting this right, building this aligned, future-ready operating model, it's never been more urgent. Why? Because the next massive wave of disruption isn't coming. It's already here, and it's about to challenge every single assumption we have about how work gets done. And you know what I'm talking about. It's AI. See, AI isn't just another app you can install or a tool you can plug into your old way of doing things. No way. It demands a totally new kind of operating model. People are calling it the agentic organization. And this is a future where work isn't just done by people anymore. It's this fluid, dynamic collaboration between human experts and specialized AI agents all working together seamlessly. Let's make that a little more concrete. Imagine the bank of tomorrow. Let's say you want to buy a house. Instead of drowning in paperwork and endless phone calls, the process starts with your personal AI concierge. It connects you to a real estate AI agent that finds properties. Then, a mortgage agent instantly customizes financial offers for you. Compliance and contract agents handle all the legal stuff in the background. And the whole thing is overseen by a small, expert team of humans. I mean, that is a fundamentally different way of doing business. So, to get ready for that future, leaders really need to think about how AI is going to stress test their current setup. Your old annual planning cycles, they're going to have to become almost real time. People's roles and responsibilities completely redesigned. Those old workflows where information gets stuck in one department, they're going to break. And having a strong governance framework, well, that's going to be absolutely critical to make sure you're using AI safely and responsibly. At the end of the day, this whole journey we've been talking about, it's really about one big shift. It's a shift from being a victim of your past to becoming the architect of your future. It's about moving away from an operating model that was defined by all that accidental debt we talked about and moving towards one that's built with intentional design. It's about finally putting that last missing piece of the puzzle right where it belongs. And so that leaves us with one last question, and this is one for you to think about for your own organization. I want you to take a really hard, honest look at how work actually gets done where you are. How are decisions really made? How are your teams really structured? And then ask yourself, is that system a solid foundation for growth? Or is it a heavy anchor, just holding you in the past? Because your answer to that question, well, that's going to determine everything about your future.